Back in 2018 and 2019, Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai had an absolute chokehold over the anime community. And I know this because I was deep in those trenches, absolutely adoring every second of the series. And it feels like pretty much everyone was too. Mai Sakurajima was pretty much everywhere. The Peggy's Kimi no Set was so iconic that most anime videos would include it. But that wasn't the end of it, because the ED ended up being the most iconic thing to come out through the entire series, through the entire franchise. It's lived to become a meme on its own. And for me, it doesn't even feel like it's been 5 years. But with the double feature of A Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Sister Venturing Out and A Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Knapsack Kid, I went back to rewatch it all because it's been a while since I've seen these characters. And I think it was a pretty pleasant experience. Hi y'all. I'm Bayfond, and yes, I was able to catch the screening of the double feature, which is honestly surprising because I wasn't expecting to see too much more content for the series after about 2019. The initial first movie of A Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Dreaming Girl is probably, in my opinion, one of the best anime movie sequels that have ever been made. And that's high praise because I'm putting it up there with Haruhi and with Evangelion. But I think that it's true because it's such a perfect movie that if you told me that the series were to end right there, I wouldn't have wanted anything more. I feel like the way that it wraps up everything and makes it feel like there's closure is just so stellar. And to this day, I can probably say that it was one of the best theater-going experiences that I've ever had. But as it turned out, again, this movie was definitely not the end of the series. And can I say that these two movies lived up to the absolute hype, to the momentum of the last movie? I would say not really. Listen, these movies are good, but I would say, unlike A Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Dreaming Girl, these are ones that I would say didn't really deserve to really have the whole theatrical experience put on. I would have actually maybe preferred if they cut this up into individual episodes and just played them as a whole season. Who knows, maybe that would have felt a little bit more natural. That might have felt like you were actually giving this series more time to breathe. The storylines this time around didn't feel as much of a spectacle as the original Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Dreaming Girl. These just felt like you were watching a regular episode from the season, just extended quite a bit. And that's why I like it, because I love this series. But as a movie, I don't know. Starting out with A Sister Venturing Out, this one was definitely the slower of the two films. Though it followed a storyline that I was very much invested in and wanted to see a lot more of. Kaede as a character had one of the best arcs in the first season. You get really attached to this character that's just so sweet and adorable, and then all of a sudden at the end they revert to who they were in the past, and you really feel the emotion that Sakata's feeling in that arc. I have vivid memories of bawling my eyes out when she was gone. And I'm glad that this movie addresses all the lingering feelings and the emotions that all the characters feel. Someone who's a huge presence on their lives is gone, but then they got back someone else that they were also hoping were to come back. The original Kaede having insecurities about what Kaede Sakata preferred is something that was really refreshing to see. It shows you that while they'll never be in each other's presence, they're both gonna be pretty much very similar to one another. Both carrying the anxiety of who they once were and also carrying the anxiety of who they want to be next. Just seeing Kaede try to do her best hits so hard because she just keeps going and pushing forward and the world just keeps hitting back. And since the story's also about her trying to move on into high school, you're also invested about what decision she's trying to make. But with all this talk about school that just keeps going on and on, I couldn't help but think that this felt like I was watching a commercial for an online school. It felt like I was watching a PSA on why some people might need to go to online school because maybe the personality's not just right to go to normal public school. It feels like I just got so much information shoved down my throat about how to pick a good school for me, even though I've been out of high school for quite some time now. And overall, I'm glad that Kaede chose an online school, because if you're factoring this in on whether the series actually takes place in 2018, well then there's a very, very big thing that's gonna be happening in the show's universe in about the next 2 years. So maybe it's a good thing that she started online school now. It would probably cause her a different kind of puberty syndrome if she actually stayed in regular school. And I would say even when you compare this movie to the other episodes in the series, this felt like one of the more grounded, one of the more tame episodes as well. I would say that out of the two movies, this is the one that would have benefited the most just coming out as a regular season. But all in all, I did enjoy my time with it, and I'm glad that we get to see that this version of Kaede also likes pandas. And then next, we have Rascal Doesn't Dream of a Knapsack Kid, which I think is a title that might have been a little bit deceptive. I don't know about you, but I was thinking this was going to be a movie about Sakata just continuously seeing a small version of Mai. Which does happen, but it's not the main issue at hand. Oh, I do have to mention this. I did like how both of these movies kind of flowed into each other. There were some scenes and some things that were mentioned in the first one that just concluded and resolved itself in the second. Gave it a lot more of a cohesive feeling and made you think, oh, that's why they wanted to do a double feature. And out of the two movies, I would say this is definitively the one that I would say is the better of the two. There was so much more character development and understanding for Sakuta as a character because you understand a lot more about where he's coming from. In season 1, you know about the situation about his mother and why he had to move away from his parents. But here, you actually get to see it. She doesn't just show up in passing, she's an actual character. And you see that Sakuta has a lot of guilt based on how he's been treating his family. He's helped out so many people with puberty syndrome, but this is the first time that he had to deal with it by himself. And he's quickly able to pinpoint exactly what's causing it and why he's in it. And I'm glad that we got a little bit of a callback from the original first arc in the season, with Mai being the only person to remember him. Marriage certificate for the win. Shinzo Abe, he'd be proud. So I feel like, if anything, this movie felt like it was trying to wrap up or end the current era of the Rascal Doesn't Dream series. Trying to circle back from where it started so that we can start something new. My only real grievances with this one is that I never really felt like there was any sense of real danger here. From the start, it felt like, oh, it's gonna be pretty easy for him to find a way back, and he eventually does. The concept of little small Mai being the gatekeeper is something that I find interesting because it's something that's not really explored all too much. You can maybe guess that it's the persona of her childhood actress self that's like this manic pixie dream girl kind of thing that is able to make Sakuta escape from the troubles of reality and to head on to this world that's softer and kinder to him. But then again, that's a guess because I don't really know. And even though I say that this was supposed to be like the ending of wrapping stuff up, there's some plot beats that are introduced that aren't going to be resolved until we get the next season because, oh yeah, it was revealed that another season's going to be coming out for the series and that they already found the animation studio that's going to be making it, which leads me to think, is it not going to be the same studio? I don't know. But what shocked me more than anything was that this news came out back in December when the second movie came out. And just now am I hearing about it. That university arc hopefully revitalizes the community of Bunny Girl Senpai fans. But I guess we're gonna have to wait for more news when it's actually gonna get closer to coming out. But overall, I would say the double feature was enjoyable. If you're someone that wasn't able to make it to any of the showings in sub or dub, if you're daring to go that route, I would say you didn't really miss out on all too much, and it's a safe bet to say that in the next few months, it's gonna come up in like Crunchyroll or maybe another streaming service. I'm seeing this as more of a precursor to that university arc, and hopefully that just blows me out the water. But what I want to know right now is, what did y'all think about this movie if you've seen it in theaters? Did you see it here in the States? Did you see it in Japan? Did you think it was better than the original series, or was it something that you felt was lacking? Please let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I was Bayfond, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.